Dallas Cowboys are off to a brutal start, 1-2 on the season. They fell to the Baltimore Ravens 28-25. The past two games, they have allowed 888 total yards and 72 points in two home losses. What's crazy about this is that final score, anyone who watched this game knows it was not indicative of the actual performance. Ravens were up 28-6 at one point, and they let them climb back into it. It was all garbage time points, so this game looks closer than it actually was. Give them a little credit for scrapping their way back, but perfect example of a game where the Ravens had it in control. I think this game is epitomized by a screen grab of the All-22 that somebody shared, and it was this is how the Cowboy, it was depicted and described as this is how the Cowboys lined up to defend 22 personnel with a 250-pound running back, meaning Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They had four men on the line of scrimmage, and there were multiple two-man wide gaps. There was just so much space and multiple linebackers in the box. And we all know how that result worked out for the entirety of this game. They ran all over them. We have griped about Mozzie Smith.
He's bad.
They're in a really brutal spot. I don't know who to point to. I don't know if it's pointing to the interior guys not being physical enough up the middle because it feels like that's where they're kind of getting kicked in the ass the most. Or do we blame Mike Zimmer? Because this has been a pitiful start to the year.
Yeah, the Ravens are a team that can run the ball well, which is unfortunate for Dallas because their main issue on getting beat is being weak in the interior too. They've tried to fix it through the draft. Hasn't worked. And I thought the Dallas was always going to have a big, strong linebacker that could fit the A gaps, but they keep getting hurt. Sean Lee got hurt. Leighton Vander Esch continues to get hurt. Jalen Smith went there for a stint hurt. They keep on bringing in really dynamic, good linebackers. Like Demarion Overshawn is a really good linebacker, but he's sideline to sideline with blazing fast speed. He's not a gap fitter. He's a Dan Quinn product, a rangy linebacker that can cover tight ends. They need somebody in the middle of the defense that can really head it up, that can shore up the run game, make sure everyone's in the right positions, because it's not looking like they are right now. And Baltimore kind of showed at what both of these teams are made of in this game. Baltimore on their best day is an A team, right? They can run the rock. Lamar Jackson is dynamic, and they have plenty of playmakers on defense. Dallas on their best day is a B-plus team. That's the fact of it. They can stay in a game with an A team that's playing at an A- level. They can stay in a game with an A- team that's playing at a B-plus level. But they're not going to win these big games, even when Baltimore is pulling a Baltimore and just letting teams crawl back in it, a la Baltimore playoff scenario 1AB. It doesn't work for them. Them crawling back was unfortunate because I wanted to see Baltimore evolve and just put them away for good, grind them in the dirt, make them mud, but they didn't do that. They left the door open, and Dallas is good enough where if there's a door open and enough time, they're going to crawl back and make you pay. But it was all Baltimore. It was always Baltimore in this game. I'm glad I got that pick right. One of the few from this week in our bettings.
One of the other griping points for Dallas Cowboys fans and then just people in general that you hear on every talk show is the inability to bring any juice to this run game. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott, who is way past his prime. He's got that goofy spaceman looking helmet that he's wearing.
It's awful.
Yeah, just a bad. Those are not great helmets, and the visor that he wears with it's just kind of a lot going on. It was troubling, and I say this as a Rico Dowdle.
Truther?
No, not truther. An individual who has Rico Dowdle as their number one running back in fantasy.
You do not.
Oh, my running backs are awful. I am 0-3. I am 0-3.
A smart young boy like you, and you have Rico Dowdle.
Because I drafted DeAndre Swift, and I have Josh Jacobs. Actually, Josh Jacobs is my number one. But to move past that, ignore that for a second. They didn't draft anybody with early capital when they clearly needed to draft somebody. Jonathan Brooks, who's hurt, at the very least should have been on their radar, was somebody who was mocked to them a ton. Trey Benson would have been huge for this team, who's the second running back right now for the Cardinals. Like, that would have been a big ad for you. There were many opportunities throughout the draft. Braylon Allen, I think of Isaiah Davis, two guys that are buried on the Jets. And Braylon Allen had a great game against the Patriots. There are so many different guys that they could have drafted, even if they didn't spend the money in free agency to boost this running back room. Jerry Jones is continuing to make disturbing, weird decisions. I know that it's easy to say, turn over the decision making, Jerry. That's never going to happen.
Mm-mm.
But what's causing this program and this team to struggle is that they have no run game and they have no ability to stop the run. Those are the two most detrimental things in the year 2024 to not have. Y'all want to talk about passing the football? You dorks with the spreadsheets. Some goofball
Let it fly on
was tweeting about this today. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott has 51 passing attempts and 379 yards, and you lost the football game. Y'all want to scream and yell about why throwing the football is so important. Look what happens when you don't have a balanced offensive attack and when you can't run the damn football.
Well, additionally to that, they had an opportunity to sign some free agents in the summer, and Derrick Henry didn't even get a call from him. And he had 155 yards and I think 2 touchdowns on Sunday. I'm sure you didn't want to come out of pocket for that. You couldn't afford him, Jerry. Well, all the number crunching dorks, as Joe would call them, all those losers that bite on their pencils, they noted that you had $25 million of cap space. That could have signed Derrick Henry. But no, you watched him gut your team. You couldn't run the ball. And the imbalanced offense, there's only one way that it works, Joe. It's what Baltimore did on Sunday. They ran the ball 45 times, threw it 15 times, and won the game. You know why? Because if you have a strong enough running attack, that's all you'll ever need to do to win games. And then passing becomes a luxury. That's the goal of an NFL team, is to pass for luxury. Oh, I'm so good. Now I'll just pass for fun. This is nice. I have all these great weapons around me. Zay Flowers, you get one. Rashad Bateman, you get one. Likely and Andrews, you can go screw. I'm done with the tight end bit here in Baltimore. But you have the ability to keep it dynamic. And if you really need to, beat a team with your legs. Dallas won't do that all year.
By the way, I know you knew that Dallas was cooked when Charlie Kohler, who's one of the stiffest players in the NFL, you know the play that I'm talking about where he caught that pass and it looked like he was running with a pipe strapped to his back. No wiggle, nothing. That big gain that you gave up to Charlie Kohler shows that you have defensive problems. That guy gashed you. He is a third tight end. Nothing more. He's not dynamic. There's no dynamic nature to his performance. What I was referencing. So, Aaron Schatz tweeted this morning that it's not him I was talking about. It's so weird to hear Tom Brady, who led one of the most pass-oriented offenses in NFL history, repeat cliches about establishing and stopping the run. It's because he knows ball. The other quote tweet response to this, PFF goofball Kevin Cole tweeted, "It's crazy the degree to which run worship is ingrained into every player coach despite even evidence from their own personal experiences. It's almost religious." Yeah, it's because the people who actually play the game and not the goofballs with the numbers and trying to put together a spreadsheet.
Who said that?
Kevin Cole. It's this is the shit that we get from the PFF goobers when
Who
they tweet
would
this
ever
stuff.
think that they had the balls to say that?
I wonder why Tom Brady, who spent so many years in the NFL and his career was built off of having good rushing games, good run games, and great defenses that stop the run, why he would lean on that. Gee, I wonder why. The game has been around for 100 fucking years, you dumbass. Well, there's all this evidence that when we do the math that shows that it's actually a little bit more efficient when you throw the ball more, and the importance of throwing the ball. BS. The best teams in the game right now run the ball better than everybody else.
That's a tragic take. I'm going to pitch out a scenario for you. Let Dallas start Hunter Lipke at running back for the rest of the season.
Honestly, yeah.
He fullback. He got a ball in space and made the most of it.
I'm tired of listening to the broadcast, and they're like, oh, they've been working Hunter. They're saying they're going to work Hunter Lipke in more, and then he doesn't get worked in. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
You want like 3 yards every single play? Give him the ball. We watched him kill people when he was at North Dakota State. Literally kill people. Look up his highlights.
At the very worst, Hunter Lipke does for you is he runs like Carson Steele did against Atlanta for the Chiefs. Like that's the very worst he's going to do is what Carson Steele is doing.